All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my monthly review for this month's issue of the Walking Dead comic book series. This is for issue 184. It is called Eugene Tinkers. And spoiler warning, if you guys have not read this issue of the Walking Dead comic book series yet, you'll want to read it before you watch this review. But that said, there's no major, character deaths or any huge spoilers like that. Eugene Tinkers. So this one, going into this issue, it looks pretty standard, and I think the cover was representative of what the issue actually did entail. On it, you have Eugene. He's basically tinkering with a train car, which is kind of cool because it reminds you, season 5 with Terminus and the whole thing when they were kind of stuck inside one. But with this one, he's basically, thinking about with the train of possibly making a trade, a high speed, fixing the train and pretty much setting it up to where they could do high speed transport between the communities. So between the Commonwealth and maybe Alexandria or any of our joint communities, just to be able to travel securely and fast, obviously by train. And, it's kind of cool. It's kind of like the rebirth of civilization. So it's starting to kind of rebuild itself back up again, right, to where it from where it was originally before the whole zombie apocalypse thing. So that's part of the issue, and that's at least what is on the cover. It's probably not the best part of the issue, though, I don't think. So we start things off with that cover, and then we get into the riot that's been going on. So you've had this riot at the Commonwealth where you have a whole bunch of people fighting. You have Jerome there with Michonne, and basically a guy punches her in the face as she's trying to help Jerome. So some random guy in the street from Commonwealth punches her right in the face and gives her a really messed up eye. You can see it afterwards when she's going through in court and everything with what they're going to do about the whole situation. And the guy who was killed before, and then kind of the riot, and the whole thing just kind of broke out like crazy. And I guess the guys who perpetrated it, the soldiers or what have you, got beaten up pretty bad in this one. So she wants to kind of propose that they pretty much call it even, and it is what it is, and just move on, right? So we've got that. We've got Mercer, who orders one of the guys who's rioting to stand down, or he'll bury an axe in his skull, which is a pretty badass line. And of course, the guy beta's out, right? So that's kind of cool. And I don't mean the character, I mean Mercer, coming in strong with his alpha, with his throwing axes and stuff like that. Then you have all the soldiers that shoot up to stop the riot, and the riot effectively stops at that point. We've got Pamela, who's she's returning now, so it's not a good first impression for her showing her community to Rick, considering Rick is showing around and everything, and now they're getting back to the Commonwealth and the whole place is rioting, right? So it looks bad on her. She's mad at Lance later on. Yeah, how did you let this happen type of deal? It all happened so fast. And we've got Rick helping. So as you have all this debris and all this crazy stuff everywhere from the riot, you have Rick who's actually getting the hands dirty, and he's actually going in with some of the people, and actually from Alexandria are actual joint survivors, and just basically helping to clean up, because he doesn't see it's a difference of points here, and she's upset when she sees him doing what the hell is he doing, because he is a leader that leads by example, and she's not. So he's a leader that he's going to get the hands dirty if he's going to ask his people to go and clean up garbage on the street. He's going to be right in there with them, cleaning it up if he has time, unless he has something better to do, and lending a hand, just one hand, right? I like that line. That's good, just a hand, because it's not the other one. So that's cool, and it kind of makes her look even worse, because here he is, he's got one hand, he's got a bum leg, and he's still helping, and yet she's just chilling out. Well, okay, she's trying to find out what happened, so I guess that is work, but it's political type work, right? Talking to this guy, find out what he did, that guy, and this type of thing. Yeah, so we've got that happening, and then, of course, her son, the spoiled brat, who reminds me of Joffrey from Game of Thrones, comes in for a minute here. He's like, what the hell are you doing, Mom? And she tells him to help, and he refuses to do so. We've got Mercer and the princess, which is funny. and sleeping together in this one. So that's kind of, I don't know, something. So and it sounds like they might be going steady, right? She's kind of crazy, and maybe he likes that. I don't know, right? So that's what it is. Then you've got Rick, who basically goes home. Some guys along the way talk to him about maybe moving to Alexandria, and he's like telling them like, no, don't. The Commonwealth is way nicer for sure. And then we have Dwight. So Dwight, this is a cool one here. So you've got Dwight there with Rick, waiting for Rick. Rick returns to wherever he's staying at the Commonwealth, and then Dwight basically is saying that these people here, they've got a foot on their neck type of thing, or they're living underfoot. And that, of course, you have the separation between the upper class and kind of the rich people in the Commonwealth, and then the lower class with a very small middle class, I want to say. And Dwight thinks he can do some good there, and Rick doesn't want to hear it. And Dwight comes back again to say like what do you mean no? Like, he can do what he wants to, because of course Rick kind of wanted him to lead the Saviors, and he didn't want to do that, and now he wants to actually go to the Commonwealth and try to somehow take a lead here, or usurp the current leaders that there are in the Commonwealth, and take over, right? It's a very Negan-esque conversation, because he's talking about saving them, right? Like, you save these people, we have to. The fuck do you mean no, right? So he's Dwight's really pissed, and it reminds me of like the Negan line that he says to Spencer, where he's like, if you wanted to just kill Rick and take over, why didn't you just kill Rick and take the fuck over, right? So you get one of these kind of situations, but the Commonwealth have so many people. They don't have that many soldiers, though, from the looks of things. I mean, maybe they do, and we just haven't seen it. But I'm not sure how Dwight would intend to do this here, and if whatever Dwight does here, this could somehow start a whole frickin' war, right? Like, can you imagine? Or the group would have to be on the run, because the Commonwealth would be like, with the amount of people they have, if they all raise up arms against Rick and the others won't stand a chance just in manpower alone. So we'll have to see what Dwight has in mind here, what he wants to do. I guess the inequality is making him nuts and just driving him crazy, right? And he wants to kind of overthrow the whole thing and become a Negan 2.0 or something, right? So it's kind of fun. I kind of like it, because it's like, you learn from, even if you hate people, right? You still learn from them. So Dwight, who sees Negan and what he was able to do with the Saviors here, he sees maybe an opportunity that maybe in the Commonwealth they have maybe some weak leadership, he thinks, or maybe he thinks that it's something where he could pull a Negan here and save them and somehow take over the Commonwealth or something. I don't know. So good stuff. It's an okay issue, because there was that, so that was good. I definitely liked the end with Dwight. Mercer and the Princess is like, okay, I guess so. The rest of it was just, regular run-of-the-mill kind of stuff. It's just the regular stuff. We only get a new issue once a month, so it doesn't push the story forward that far in this kind of current style that they're doing right now with the Walking Dead comics. It's okay. I definitely didn't think it was bad. I like the development with Dwight and everything like that. And with Eugene maybe for later. That's something they could come back to eventually. So it's an okay issue for me. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was decent, but certainly back in the day when we got Walking Dead issues, different. It was almost a totally different type of series compared to what we're getting right now. Whereas right now we're getting these development issues where you're seeing totally focused on this humongous group and totally focused on the intergroup relationships, and the zombies definitely take a back seat. Whereas, from the early first 100 issues or whatever, it was so survival oriented. So really changed a lot for sure. And maybe for the better, but in this issue, just reading it through, and also the recent issues as well, too, has been like, yeah, it's okay. Walking Dead comic series is okay. But, I'm not seeing anything right now that I think is really, probably the best issue we've seen in a while was the one where Maggie confronted Negan. At least that, for me, that's my favorite issue that we've had for quite a while in the Walking Dead comics. It's actually been a while since I think we've gotten some, maybe, I don't want to say like really good stuff for the Walking Dead comics, but like some of that stuff that was like All Out War good, or Whisper War, like that exciting. And granted, things can't be war all the time. I recognize that. So those are my thoughts on the issue. Let me know what you guys thought about this one. Leave your comments below. And if you like the video, please don't forget to thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. And if you're new, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. See you guys again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev. And I'm saying peace later, guys. I'll see you soon.